Hello YouTube, it's Shells the Destroyer, and we are going to watch Jaiden's animation, her experience living in LA. Their experience? I forget. Jaiden's experience living in LA. Grab a snacky, grab a bevy, let me know what you eat and drink down below. Thanks for watching.
Cheer 100 Choo Choo.
SJ, thank you for the bits.
9 years ago, James and I talked about what it was like living in our home state, Arizona. I honestly don't remember most of what we said in that video. I tried to
I didn't realize both of them lived in Arizona. I feel like you don't get Arizona a lot. Everyone thinks I live in Texas. When I'm like, no? So there's like, you expect like LA, Texas, somewhere in the Northeast, maybe.
watch it as a refresher and maybe a little trip down memory lane, but turns out after 5 seconds I'd rather be guillotined. No, eyes on me. You clicked on this video, you're staying on this video. No funny ideas, alright? The other day I was in a store trying to buy a plain black shirt that was locked up behind those stupid box lockers, so I had to ring an employee.
They're locked up behind box lockers? You can't just buy a shirt? Does anyone know what that is? Like, yeah, like, they're talking about being in LA, but, like, what? I get that, okay, theft, but, like, like, what?
For a single shirt. A few minutes later, someone came by. Alright, what can I... Oh my gosh. Are you Jaiden Animations? Yeah. No way. I love your videos. Can I get a photo? Yeah. Thanks so much. I didn't expect to see you here. Are you visiting? Oh, no, I live here. You're not in Arizona anymore? And that's when it dawned on me, there is a giant portion of my audience who will not get updated on some parts of my life if I don't explicitly say it in one of my animations. Also, the guy left without unlocking the box, so I had to wait another 5 minutes for him to come back and get the shirt. So yeah, to anyone who didn't get the memo, I've been in California for the past 6.5 years, specifically Los Angeles. I honestly can't believe it's been that long already, because that means for the past 6.5 years, I've been doing nothing but complaining about it the entire time.
I mean, you haven't... Okay. Yeah, people aren't gonna know that you live here unless you specify that you live there. Like, I could say nothing about where I live and people will just, like, make assumptions about it, right? But, like, if I move, if I don't mention me moving, no one's gonna know.
I believe in the compliment sandwich system, though. Not everything about moving to California has been bad. For example, the weather is great. It's always sunny, which, you know, Arizona is too, but like, in a bad way. California doesn't hit the casual 118 everything outside melts and dies degrees like back home. It's vacation weather all the time. I like that part. The drivers here are assholes. Arizona isn't all sunshine and rainbows in the driving department either. When I was learning to drive as a teenager, my mom told me to never honk at people no matter what because there's a chance they'll just shoot me. But because of the sheer volume of people on California roads all the time, it is a completely different beast. And every single one of them is driving to go kick babies because they hate their fellow man. Compassion does not exist on the California freeway.
I would say this very similar things about Atlanta traffic if you've ever been driving in Atlanta for any reason, especially during like busy times, which is almost all the time, I'm gonna be honest. I will drive in Atlanta at like 8 o'clock at night and it'll be like, oh my god, there's not a lot of people on the road for some fucking reason. This is actually a relatively pleasant drive. I don't feel like I'm about to die. And then I will go back, or like I will drive 8 o'clock the next day. Also weekdays, by the way. These are all weekdays. And the next day at 8 o'clock, it is packed for no fucking reason I can figure out. And I'm just like, oh, okay. There's a lot of times when I'm driving in Atlanta and I turn on my blinker and I just start going. Because I'm like, you see me. I'm getting over. You're gonna let me over, or we're both gonna get in an accident. Like, because that's how you have to fucking drive there to get anywhere. Because you'll be driving, and then the GPS is like, you need to get off to this exit, which is you have, like, I know you just got on this part of the highway, but you need to cross like 6 lanes of traffic to get onto your exit, like immediately. And you just have to make that decision, or you're gonna be you add an extra hour to your driving time, basically. So it's just like, it sucks. Big cities traffic, just, it sucks. It's terrible. I hate it. Also, Atlanta wasn't set up in like a grid system, so it's like worse. Like, just awful.
And by that, I mean blinkers. You know, the very helpful and necessary communication tool that tells people you'd kindly like to move into the lane. It's a sign of weakness here. If you even think about turning your blinker on, every single car in your vicinity will speed up and refuse to let you merge because they cannot handle the idea of a different car being in front of them.
Yep.
How can they get to their destination faster if a car that was in front of them in a different lane suddenly shifts to the side 12 feet? People will go out of their way to merge into the lane just to speed past you and spit on your windshield. When I turn my blinker on,
God.
which I still do because I refuse to let this barbaric driving culture corrupt me, a car will speed up and then merge in front of me.
Oh yeah, no. That shit pisses me off. That shit, God, nothing gives me road rage like trying to drive in a big city, because everyone just sucks. Everyone around you is just terrible. The amount of times I talk out loud when I drive sometimes, especially when I'm getting like frustrated and pissed off, the amount of times where I will see someone put on their blinker and I will slightly slow down and let them over while out, like, audibly to myself be like, it's okay, you can come over. I don't fucking live here, so I'm not a piece of shit. Like, friends that live in Atlanta. I don't think everyone that lives in Atlanta is a piece of shit. But like, just getting in that fucking traffic pisses me off. I'm just like, no, you come over. I'm nice. I'm not from here. Like, I do crash out a lot. It sucks. There is always an accident. It's always going to take you an extra hour to get anywhere. Like, it just sucks so much. Oh my God.
You need to be in my lane, and I need to be in yours. We literally have to stay at our same speeds and shift. It's simple. There's no point in you blocking my merge just to merge into my lane anyway. Oh my God, it pisses me off so much.
Yes.
They do it all the time. If I had no money and got $1 every single time someone took advantage of my blinker, I'd have enough money to move out of this godforsaken state. One time I turned my blinker on, checked my blind spot, and in the amount of time it took for me to look back at the road and start merging, a car way behind me had sped up so fast that my car's auto detection had to cut my merge off so I wouldn't hit them. And then that car honked at me! I will kill us both. All right.
Yeah, no, that, I feel that. I feel that. I was like, listen, I'll take us both out. I will take us both out. I'm gonna fucking merge. I'm gonna fucking merge. I turned on the blinker. That's your goddamn warning. I'm not asking for permission to get in your motherfucking lane. I'm telling you where I'm going. And I'm going there. Eat shit.
I will kill us both. All right, the drivers suck, but at least I'm only going a few more.
Am I in an SUV? No, I'm in a minivan, but I'm still bigger than half the cars on the road. And if I'm not in a minivan, I might be in something bigger. I don't fucking know. To be fair, I'm not driving U-Hauls through Atlanta. God, that would suck so bad. So thankfully, I'm not driving U-Hauls through Atlanta. But like, no, I drive a minivan. Do you know what that means? My car's probably safer than yours if I get in an accident. I have so many airbags. I have so many safety features. Try me. Anyway.
Miles. Not only am I forced to drive alongside these bozos, I'm forced to drive alongside them for way longer than I should need to. The traffic is so genuinely bad, I daydream of becoming a better sprinter to arrive at places quicker because it is genuinely not far from the realm of realism. Either that or get one of those monster snowplow attachments. I mean, seriously, 10 miles? I should not be in the car longer than 20 minutes. Everyone here loves driving 30 over the speed limit anyway. I don't even know what the holdup is.
No, that was so cute. It was Lupin. It was Lupin the Third. It's Inagata.
Driving 30 over the speed limit anyway. I don't
This is so cute. This is so cute.
even know what the holdup is. Also, a little tip. If you wanted to find a place to park when you get to your destination, you shouldn't even be driving in the first place. Parking doesn't exist here, it's a myth and a lie. 95% of all locations have 0 parking lots. There's never street parking, and if you happen to be a lucky enough soul to find a spot, you can't slow down to parallel park into it because people are either gonna yell at you for clogging the lane or ram into your bumper. It's just an evil trick. So your only choice is to find a parking garage that costs like $20. One time, my friends and I drove to a One Piece live symphony at the Dolby Theater and decided to park in its parking garage. Oh, what an obvious mistake. Do you want to know how long it took us to get out of that garage after the show when everyone was leaving? 2.5 hours!
Okay. Legitimately, I'm one of those people who, like, if I think there's going to be a rush or a lot of cars trying to leave somewhere or a lot of people trying to leave somewhere, I'll just vibe wherever the fuck I'll either leave slightly early or just vibe and just talk with people. Like, you know, you have friends, just vibe in the theater for a little while. Just hang out, meander around a little bit, maybe look up like a coffee shop or something nearby because I'm gonna let the cars go first. And I have a feeling that is 100% because of where I live. There are certain times when it is extremely busy and you can't get anywhere. So I'm used to letting the crowds just go. Like, just let the crowds go. It's fine. Just hang out. Don't be in a rush. I know this is not LA mentality. This is Southern mentality, but just let the crowds go. It's fine. We'll get like a drink or something somewhere. Or just like, you know, hang out and stand around by the car or like in the air conditioning or something and just talk.
We parked in the designated parking garage for a show and paid 2.5 hours of our life on top of real life money. So what if you don't have a car? Then you don't have to deal with any of this, right? Well, you can't walk anywhere. What do you think this is? Any other country? You could get a bike or a motorcycle, but again, with the quality of drivers around, you might as well play Russian roulette every time the wheels touch asphalt. Maybe with the right setup and some expendable funds, you could just get around with rideshare apps. But man, getting an Uber is so expensive out here. It might as well be considered a luxury in itself.
So I went to Anime Expo, and part of the reason why I went is because I was invited to come see some shows by some agents and stuff, because I run conventions and I have random weird connections, whatever. So I went there and I used Lyft because I realized I have American Express Delta card. And that's how I travel is through Delta because I have a lot of Delta points. And I found out if you use Lyft, you get Delta points. And I was like, fuck yeah, hit me up with those points, baby. So I thought it wasn't terrible, especially for how long it took you to get anywhere, to be in all honesty. But that also might have been around, well, I don't know, it was July when I was there. So like, I don't think it was that bad. I've definitely had like more expensive like things, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers in the area. I would also like check. I say it wasn't that bad. It was a little expensive, but, like, there's a lot in the area, so I would just check Uber and or Lyft to see which one was more affordable or which one I cared about more, and, like, pick the one that was either more affordable or that I felt like I would get more out of. Like, Lyft gave me points, so I used Lyft a lot. I don't know.
You're taking an Uber either to or from the LAX airport, I guarantee it'll cost
Thank you for headpad.
at least $100.
I wanna say mine cost, like, 65, which is expensive, but I wasn't super close. The airport is, like, not really near anything, I feel. Or maybe not near anything I was going to. I don't know.
And the drivers don't get, like, any of that, by the way. Once I had a driver complain to me about the ride rates the whole trip, which was not asked for to begin with. He said he had a client once trying to go to LAX, and they were being charged $100, like I said, but the driver was only gonna get $30 from the trip. So he offered to charge $80 cash for them to do it outside the app as a win-win. Don't ever take this type of offer, kids. That was incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, there's no tracking or anything. Like, that's I would just be like, "No, man. That's how you get got. That's how you get disappeared and no one knows what happened to you. No, thank you."
But that's just where the landscape of Uber is here. Also, fun little tip, never tell any drivers the place you're going to or from is your actual home. This is for everywhere, not just California. Sure, if they ask, it's normally small talk, but when it's not, you're in danger! Yikes! Now that guy won't leave your driveway. And the police say they can't do anything because he hasn't actually committed a crime yet. Just lie and say it's a friend's place or something. It's not worth the gamble, and lying
Jaiden, did this happen to you? Are you okay?
to strangers is fun. That was a free survival hint from your friendly neighborhood YouTuber. Put that one in the back of your pockets. Speaking of LAX, because I brought it up earlier, that place is actual hell on earth. If someone gets sent there after death, I would consider it a viable punishment for being a bad person. But innocent.
So, the one time I was in LAX, because I've only ever been... No, that's not true. I've actually had multiple experiences with LAX coming from Japan. But I've never had to, like, super, like, check in. I've only had to check into LAX once, and it was really funny to me. Because they were trying to convince... Like, I walked in, right? I have the American Express Delta card, which means I get clear or something for, like, a year or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. I never signed up for it. I don't care. But there was, like, a person that was, like, trying to pitch clear to people because that was their job. And they, like, stopped me, and I was just chatting because, like, for whatever reason, when I checked into LAX, they weren't that busy. I've had to go through Atlanta Airport, so, like, comparatively, it wasn't that bad. So I was, like, just chatting with this person, and they were, like, trying to kind of pitch clear to me, and they were like, "Well, if you have the Amex card, you could do this and this and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I fly out of a pretty small airport. Like, I just don't feel like it's worth it, and it's not that big a deal. I just feel like it's not worth it because a lot of the airports I fly in and out of are usually pretty small. Like, I have to go through hub airports like Atlanta and LAX a couple of times. But for the most part, the checking in process isn't that bad for me. So, and they were like, "No, that's fair." And I was like, "Okay, bye." But it wasn't, like, super bad, and I was, like, really surprised because some of the times you fly in from, like, Japan or another country, and you have to go through, like, customs at, like, LAX. And that gives me such, like, whiplash because I just spent 2 weeks in Japan where everyone is fairly nice and polite. And now I'm dealing with the assholes in LAX. And I'm just like, it pisses me off every time. Like, I get the airport equivalent of road rage every time because I'm just so offended by how rude everyone is being. But to be fair, I also feel this way just when I'm in places that's rude because I'm from the South, right? And we tend to be pretty polite down here. So, yeah. I don't know. I've had weird experiences at LAX, but, like, actually going through and, like, checking in and going through TSA has never been that bad. to me. But I also might just be used to the Atlanta airport because I have to always go through the Atlanta airport.
People are forced to be subjected to it every single day, and it's inhumane. You have every single asshole with a plane ticket in the entire city and beyond enter through the same stupid entrance, forced to drive through the same loop bumper to bumper until they get to their specific gate. No branching paths, no attempts to categorize the types of arrivals, just a single slaughterhouse line like cattle. But in normal slaughterhouse lines, the cattle don't hate each other. I was talking about bad merging before. It is legitimately survival of the fittest in the LAX horseshoe. Absolutely no one will let you merge lanes ever unless you threaten to fist fight them right there on the concrete. One time I sat with my blinker on in traffic that was not moving for 15 minutes straight, and a dude still refused to let me start merging once cars started inching forward. I had to sit there making direct eye contact with him until he was uncomfortable enough to let me get in front of him. It is personal. I am not the same person when I'm in the LAX horseshoe. None of us are. Some dudes in the 1960s decided they wanted everyone that ever planned to visit LA to suffer instantly when they got here. And they simply got away with it. I've spent so much time talking about traffic and the airport. I haven't even talked about living in LA yet. Well, that part sucks too.
Oh my god,
so
babe.
Absurdly expensive here. It's almost comedic. Oh,
I like the tostada cereal in the background.
so absurdly expensive here. It's almost comedic. Almost. Maybe raise the prices of food like $10 more and I'll start to chuckle. No, a burrito's like $40. I haven't even had food out here that's blown my mind. Sure, it's not bad, but when eating out can get this expensive, I expect something more to write home about. There are some really fancy restaurants around, but I shouldn't have to spend even more money to eat a meal that makes me go, wow, I will remember this. It's become a common pastime for some people to pull up Zillow and look at all the really crazy expensive multi-million-dollar mansions, fantasizing about what they would do if they were to live in the craziest of homes. But the equivalent of that for me and my friends here is to look at normal homes that are just not in California. Oh, look at that one! 3-bed, 2-bath for like $2,500 a month. That's insane. Here, the same thing can go upwards of $7,000. Now don't—
A month? That's crazy. That's bonkers. That's gross. I don't do that. I do look at Zillow listings of houses in my neighborhood. Like when I see like a house in my neighborhood's on sale, I'm like, I wanna see what you did with your house. I wanna see what your floors look like. I wanna see how you decorated. I wanna see what you did with your cabinets. You got new cabinets? Like that's me. Like I don't know. I just wanna see what's going on in my neighbors' houses. Just like from like a hey, should I redo my cabinets? What'd you do? Like that kind of thing. But like that just seems like yeah, Jaiden's got money. Like I'm aware, but I'm just like, oh my god. That seems so much. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Speaking on food though, if you go to Little Tokyo in LA, there's like a little section that's called Little Tokyo. There's a Japanese ramen. No. There's a Japanese restaurant. Why do you guys always like double up on whatever you... Okay, anyway. Japanese restaurant. And it has really good tonkatsu. Highly suggest.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very lucky and fortunate enough to not have to worry about finances as much. I can afford to live in a more expensive place here. It's not gonna break my bank. But at the same time, I'd like to still be relatively smart with money. Sure, I tend to splurge on plushies and trinkets. Haha, Jaiden's buying another Miku figure. But outside of that stuff, I'm really not spending money on anything else. I'm not into luxury cars or clothes restaurants or any of that type of culture. It's trinkets, plushes, and admittedly a little too much DoorDash. But I have a job that I can perform literally anywhere in the entire world. And I'm sitting here wasting extra costs on living in one of the most expensive cities in America.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, why specifically is she in LA though? They're in LA? Like, why specifically? I'm not gonna fault them on it. Like, you can live wherever you want, especially if you had the means to do so. I mean, I guess. Friends, maybe. I don't know. Like, LA is rough.
It feels bad. And I don't know if you picked up on it yet, but I don't even really like it here all that much. So why? Why do I choose to burn extra money just to exist in LA? The single reason is all of my friends are here, and I'd happily shovel extra funds into a giant furnace to be near them because that's what makes a place feel like a true home. But all of my friends are also content creators that can work anywhere too, and if we all just banded together and decided to move somewhere else, that would sure be swell. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of time, coordination, and resources to try and figure out an entirely new place to move a giant friend group of people. So we've essentially soft-locked ourselves here until we can all agree it's time to get out of here. I'll give LA some credit. The main thing that makes it great is the fact that everything is always happening here. There's always some sort of fun event going on. Concerts, tours, random pop-ups. I went to a live screening of the season 2 finale of Severance where the cast got to talk about it afterwards, and that was one of the coolest experiences of my life so far. You name it, it is happening in California. Truly, you will never be bored here if you're always looking for something to do, and I recognize that is incredibly valuable. But at the same time, it means there's always tourists visiting, and Los Angeles is a very disgusting city for tourists to visit. It smells like pee all the time. The tourist trap areas are so trashy. There's constant crowds everywhere you go. When it rains, the pee smells even worse. Every once in a while, I need to go into the city for some reason or another, and those are bad days. Also, if you want to see all these cool things, you don't have to live in California to begin with. In fact, living here only desensitizes me to all the awesome stuff constantly around. Back when I first moved, I was really close to Disneyland, and for the entire 2 years I spent over there, I only went to the alleged happiest place on earth a single time because of a friend's birthday. That's more of a personal experience though. I know plenty of people who have yearly passes to Disney or Universal who go to them all the time. But for me, I always just think, I can go there anytime, so maybe later. And then later is multiple years. I consider it a privilege to be able to live in LA. It's
just saying, like, this is entirely off the subject. Please don't move to Florida. And the only reason I say that is the amount of hurricanes that keep happening and you just not realizing you're gonna have to uproot yourself multiple freaking times and evacuate the state. Like a year. Okay? And the only reason I say that is because I have family that lives there. Like, don't fucking move to Florida. Like, I mean, I guess there's parts of Florida you could move to, but like the places that you want to go, you're gonna have to evacuate 'cause it's gonna be like multiple fucking hurricanes coming.
expensive. A lot of people dream of coming here and making it big. And if you can afford it, you can definitely live luxuriously. But I am just really not built for all that. I grew up in a tiny desert town with like no people in it and prefer to be holed up in my house 90% of the time watching YouTube until my brain is mush.
Mm.
However, as much as I want to uproot everything again to live somewhere else less expensive and more compatible with my preferred lifestyle, I do think LA is a good place for me to be right now. Both the YouTube and animation industry are here. I don't need to travel for most of the events I get invited to, and content creators are always visiting for something or another, so I get to meet a lot of fellow creator friends. I can't say anywhere else in the world can offer all these benefits that specifically apply to me right now, and it's also just a lot of fun. I might not exactly like it, but LA is my home for at least the next few years, and I do get to have a lot of fun here with my friends. It's a toxic relationship, I suppose, but I'm sure in a decade with my friends. It's a
This is a Courage the Cowardly Doghouse. Like, does anyone else see that?
toxic relationship, I suppose, but I'm sure in a decade when I'm somewhere else and reminiscing on the past, I'll have very fond memories of it all. So I can complain all I want while I'm here, but deep down, I know California has been such a huge part of the most defining years of my life, and I'll hold a very special place for it in my heart for a long time. LAX and the drivers are just excluded from it though. I'll hate those parts forever. I posted
No, that's fair. Drivers in big cities suck. I don't know.
A little video, but if you missed it, we're selling Tostada merch for the first time ever because everyone begged and pleaded for it. Please go check it all out. I think everything turned out so silly and good, and she's only available until September 7th. And here's a picture of her for the
Oh,
Okay, bye-bye.
baby tostada.
Until September 7th. And here's a picture.
Baby tostada. Bye. I mean, I guess there is like a whole thing about friends. I don't know. I end up not, and like also events, but there's other cities that constantly have something go. Basically, cities in general often, especially big ones, often have something going on constantly or even multiple stuff constantly. Now, that might not be, it might not be the specific things you want to go see or do, I guess. It is the biggest in entertainment. I mean, I know that. I do. Like, yeah, LA is, but like if they're saying like, hey, I can work anywhere, and also my friends who I'm here to be with are also content creators that can technically work anywhere. But then yes, it's like I would have to travel into here a lot probably if I wanted to do a lot of stuff. It's I don't know. It's kind of like a situation of like, I really can't win. But something I've noticed about big cities is a lot of them have like mini cities within them. And when I say that, I mean like you can move into a part of them that has everything you need around you for the most part. And they kind of touched on that because they were like, sometimes I have to go, like occasionally I have to go into the big part of like LA, like downtown or whatever. So, like, maybe just find a part of the city that is more kind of like smaller, if that makes sense. Like, oh, the traffic isn't as bad in this part, and there's everything I need in this part. And if I need to go to the big city part or a YouTube theater or whatever, I can do that. It's fine. It's going to be a hellscape no matter where I live, but I can do that. But everything I need is kind of here in a comfortable size, maybe? Problem with the LA is there isn't exactly one of those. You just hit another city. Well, that sucks. I don't know. Hopefully, it all works out for them.